I'm back. New season, new car, new tracks, and basically zero muscle memory for any of it. At the end of last season, I said I was considering a few different routes. TCR, Clio Cup, GT4, and in the end, GT4 just felt like the right move. More races, higher participation, and I'd still be able to run the NEC in the higher class, so it just made sense. The car choice? Well, that was the easy part, and this is why. Still the best car I've ever owned and probably the best I've ever driven. So when I saw the Merc in iRacing's GT4 lineup, that was it. I didn't care if it was meta or not. Right now it's purple as a nod to the real one, but something very special is in the works. It should be ready for the next video, so keep your eyes peeled for the reveal. This week's race is part of the Falken Sports Car Challenge, and we're kicking things off at the Bend. A brand new track for iRacing, and I'll be honest, I don't love it. It's too open for my liking, flat and featureless. No walls, no landmarks, no turn-in references. It all just blends together. It feels more like a test pad than a racetrack. That being said, some of the corners are fantastic, especially the faster stuff. However, trying to learn a brand new car and a brand new circuit at the same time, a bit spicy. The AMG GT4 is a big step up from the M2 Cup from last season. More power, proper aero, sharper brakes, grippier tyres, but much less plug and play than the M2. Brake bias, ABS and traction control, they all make or break your lap. Push too hard into a corner and it just ploughs straight on. You've got to get the front end settled in very early, then manage the balance through the corner. The one thing I did get a feel for pretty quickly was how it behaves on corner exit. You can really lean on the oversteer more than I expected, way more than the cars I've been in up to this point. It rotates hard, but when it steps out, it's catchable. It takes finesse, but when it clicks, it's super satisfying. There's something magical about coming out of a corner with a straight wheel and just the right amount of slip. Then came race day. I'd done the prep, the practice, the setup tweaks, but nothing prepared me for how painfully slow the outlap is at the Bend. No exaggeration, I had time to question my entire iRacing career before we even saw the green flag. And if you don't fuel for it properly, well, let's just say not everyone makes it to the end.
Out of gas.
I qualified on pole, which I didn't expect. In practice, I was about a second off the pace that I'd seen from previous race winners, so I assumed I wasn't in top split, and I wasn't. But pole's pole, even if I had no idea how to handle the start. I really need to learn how to do rolling starts properly. I've always been bad at them, and this one's no different, despite starting in the lead. As soon as we go green, I'm instantly getting swallowed up. I'm just trying to hold the centre and survive T1. I don't mind losing a spot, I just don't want to get punted out of the race 15 seconds in after a 45-minute outlap. But not everyone seems to have that ethos. The McLaren dives up the inside. I'm holding my line, but out of nowhere, he just cuts across me, completely across my front end, spins himself out, wipes across my bumper and takes out a Porsche on the outside too. Somehow I get away unscathed, still in P1, but behind me, pure carnage. Cars on the grass, people weaving across the track, dive bombs, chaos. It feels like I'm in rookie class all over again. I managed to get a bit of breathing room almost straight away, but after that 45-minute outlap, the tyres are stone cold. Colder than I've ever felt them at the Bend. It's like driving on glass. There's no front end bite, no grip on turning, and every time I try and put the power down, the rear wants to step out. The AMG isn't like the M2, you can't just chuck it in and let the weight shift do the work. It's a precision machine. I've got proper aero now, which means the faster I go, the more grip I get. But the slower corners, those are a nightmare. No speed means no downforce, so if I don't get the weight shifted and the balance right, the front just washes wide. I'm having to completely rethink how I drive corners. Brake earlier, get the car settled and commit to the line before the grip even feels like it's there. There's no safety net and every input counts. I'm second guessing every turning point, every braking marker, and I'm still learning what this car wants from me. I'm tiptoeing around every corner, just trying to survive the lap, and already I can see that McLaren starting to reel me back in. I know the tyres will come up good eventually, but right now it's like wrestling a bear in a phone booth. Lap 2, and not much happens out front. But inside the cockpit, it's a war of adjustments. The AMG still feels foreign. It's fast, aggressive, but it seems to punish every single overstep. So I'm using this lap to settle in. I start studying the McLaren behind me, checking where he's closing the gap and where I'm stronger. It's a bit of a chess game. He's braking later and rolling in with way more aggression than I'm comfortable with, so either his setup's more planted than mine, or he's just got more trust in it. What I do know is I need him out of my draft, because as long as he's tucked in behind, I'm having to defend and I'd rather be running my own lines. I'm starting to see patterns. He's gaining in the tighter stuff, the first sector especially, and that nightmare of a T1. He's braking later than I thought possible, like the laws of physics just don't apply to him. But I've got him on the faster sweeps, where the aero really comes alive. I think I can hold it flat just a little longer than him, and that's where I build the gap up again. So maybe it's not just talent or balls. Maybe the McLaren's just better suited to the low speed stuff. By the end of the lap, he started to make shapes in my mirrors. Left, right, big lunges. He's not close enough to attack, not yet, but I can see he wants to force a mistake, and if he gets any closer, I'll have to start defending properly. Turn 1, lap 4. He shows his nose up the inside. I expect him to go for it. I'm already planning the cutback, but he bails. Maybe it was a bluff, maybe he was hoping I'd move early and give him the line. Either way, I hold it. Next couple of turns and he's trying again, this time on the outside, but it's a half move, nothing serious yet. At turn 6, the hairpin, I continue to cover the inside. That's the one spot I know it'll be easy for him to send it up the inside and block me off, so I continue to take the defensive line, just enough to discourage him. He's still gaining in certain places, T13 especially, the uphill blind right-hander I still can't nail. Every time I build a gap, he claws it back right there. And every time he does, I get an earful of that McLaren snarling up behind me. Sounds great, but it's not exactly comforting when you're trying to stay alive. Lap 5 through 10, not much really happens from the outside at least. Inside the car though, it's relentless. Every lap it's the same pressure. Every corner I see that McLaren lurking in the mirrors. Sometimes he drops back a tenth or two, then he claws it back and he's right there again, breathing down my neck like he's trying to win an award for most committed stalker. Aside from the hairpins, I'm not driving defensive just yet, but I'm thinking about it. Every braking zone becomes questionable. Every exit becomes a check-in. The gap's still there, but not by much. What surprises me is I'm not panicking. This is probably the most consistent pressure I've had to deal with in a race, and somehow I'm still focused, still hitting my mark, still holding it together. It's not calm, but it's definitely calculated. But at this point, I'm definitely starting to feel it, the pressure, the lap stacking up, no brakes, no relief, just pure focus. Lap 11, and this is where it slips. He's back to doing tricks in my mirrors again, weaving slightly, throwing dummy looks under braking. I've seen it all before, but this time, I bite. Just for a second, I glance up at him for a fraction instead of focusing ahead, and I miss my marker. Not by much, but just enough to overshoot the hairpin. I go way too deep, fully expecting to see him come flying past, but somehow he doesn't. I think maybe he outbraked himself too, trying to react to me, or just getting caught up in his own aggression. That was close, way too close, but that's racing, and this is great racing. End of lap 12, and now he's really on me. Right on the bumper, perfect slipstream, and to make it worse, we're closing in on a back marker. Now I've got two problems. The McLaren's got the speed advantage down the straight, and we're both barreling towards a car that could mess everything up. No idea how this will play out, but I'm bracing for something. He gets the run, pulls inside, it's a clean move into T1. He's got the line, the momentum, and he takes the lead. But I've been watching, and I know if I stay tight and get the cutback, I'll be on the outside for turn 2, which sets me up for the inside of T3. It works. Cleaner than I expected. By the time we get to T3, I'm fully ahead. He gives me a little love tap just to let me know he's still there, but nothing dirty, just pressure. Some of the best defensive driving I've ever done. No block moves, no panic, just line control and confidence, and it worked. Now we're closing in on the slower BMW. Not so slow that we'll breeze past, but slow enough to matter. Could affect the fight, could cause chaos. I show myself in the mirrors, just a nudge, a warning, we're coming through. And to my surprise, he moves aside, runs wide and lets us both through. Lap 14, the McLaren's still there. He's backed off slightly after the overtake attempt, but only just. I can feel he's regrouping. Maybe cooling the tyres, maybe planning one final push. Lap 15 comes and goes. Clean, no mistakes, but I'm not relaxing yet. I've seen this movie. He's waiting for the last lap, and honestly, I'm expecting fireworks. Maybe even flashbacks. If you saw my pre-rookie escape arc, you'll remember the last guy who got tired of sitting behind me didn't bother with a pass. He just turned me like a shopping trolley on the final corner of the final lap. Last lap. I'm hitting my marks, not overdriving, not looking in the mirrors more than I need to, just clean, focused, holding pace. Couple of corners to go. I do a quick mirror check just to see if I need to defend the final turn. And he's gone. Just like that. I cross the line still expecting him to pop out and send me one last move, but nothing. Then I hear it.
Out of gas. Please, someone push me.
He ran out on the last lap right before the finish. All that pressure, all that racing, all those shapes in my mirrors, and in the end, I never cracked. This was probably the most focused, consistent drive I've ever put together. Defensive when I had to be, calm under pressure, no desperation, no mistakes that mattered. He ran out of fuel, yeah. And honestly, I feel bad after all that effort, all that intensity to get knocked back to 7th right before the line. Brutal. But like I said at the start, setup is everything now. Way more than it ever was in the M2. Brake bias, TC, tyres, and yeah, even fueling. This race wasn't about raw pace, it was about prep, consistency, and being ready for the full 16 laps. And for once, I was. There's a lot more to come this season, new tracks, new lessons, and definitely a few more meltdowns, I'm sure. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much, and if you're new here, please feel free to stick around. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.